Hi, this is Wishop, and I just wanted to do a quick spooky season sort of pick a card. I don't do too many pick a cards, but let's do it. Um, the reason I wanted to do it is because for me, Halloween is not the end of a season, it's the beginning. So this is the spirit transit time of year that's going to run from now all the way through Candlemas, early February, Groundhog Day. The darker half of the year is when it's a great time for spirits to travel. In fact, this would be, in some pagan traditions, the New Year, which is always also a time when people go out with the old, in with the new. So it's a good time for spirits to migrate. So anyway, I thought it would be fun to do a pick a card. I have four sort of themey decks for spirit transit. So here's the first one. You can use this as a 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's Trick or Tarot. I want to say that, first of all, congratulations to the people who won this. I hope that you got your packages in good order. There will be one card from each deck in each reading. So just because you pick this as number one doesn't mean you're not going to get a card from this deck. So this is number one. Number two, the fabulous Santa Muerte Tarot. Awesome. Number three, Kipling West's Halloween Tarot, a classic that is so darn good. It just reads so beautifully. And last, number four, we will have the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot by Lisa Hunt. So you will get one from each deck. Please choose 1, 2, 3, or 4. You can choose it based on, inner issues, nearest and dearest, your environment, your future plans, north, south, east, west. You choose how you want to segment up the 4. You can get a reading from each pile or just one. Are you ready? Okay, let's see what's up. I like using multiple decks because then you get the chance of repetition, which can be really interesting. So let's start with pile number 1. I will, of course, timestamp this. Of course. High Priestess in reverse. So take a good look at that. We've also got the Six of Wands upright. Love that. We've got the Strength card upright. Also fantastic. And we've got the Five of Swords in reverse, where these figures are being chased through the night by the Elf King. So it's fantastic. So the quickie thing here, and I'm sorry for the slightly janky setup. I have a clip for my tripod and I can't find it. So rather than not do it, I'm just doing it this way. But the Five of Swords in reverse, the first thing this tells me is try not to fight your way through whatever you're going through now. You want to relax into it. You want to have confidence. Look at the confidence here. The confidence that you have the strength and the resourcefulness to handle whatever's coming, because what's coming is very good. So imagine the surprise you would feel if you were suddenly hoisted onto someone's shoulders and they were carrying you around like a hero, and you'd be like, oh God, maybe you'd feel embarrassed or slightly startled. The things that are coming to you, and I think that's the reason why we have the High Priestess in reverse. You're not expecting this. You don't know it. You don't foresee it. Right? The High Priestess is a key card of foresight, but she's a major, and you've got Strength, which is also a major. So big things are happening. Don't get in the way of them. Don't fight them. Get into the groove of it. And if people want to lift you up on their shoulders, and carry you like the leader of the pack or the leader of the pride, you know what I mean? Let them do it. If they're making you a ringleader, you may be very well qualified for that role, and perhaps you've been waiting to take that role for a long time. So now is not the time to fight. In this card, a woman is escaping, is trying to escape with her little baby, the elf king. And the point is, don't fight. I don't know how to say this, like the kingship. Don't fight a leadership role and say, I can't do it. I'm not enough for it. I don't know enough. Now is really the time that you're ready. You're very ready. And if you leap forward with some strength and confidence, you're going to find that you have the support from others that you need, and you're going to be able to make great progress. But you will have to get over worrying that you're a fraud or that you're not enough in some way. Nobody ever quite feels like they're enough when something is thrust upon them. There are always things you can worry about, always things that you can think you could do better or you could know more. But right now, this is a moment, and you're right for this moment. So think about jumping forward with a sense of adventure and confidence and fun, rather than fighting or worrying or being preoccupied with anything else. Like, jump into the parade and have a good time. So that is reading number 1. Let's get all into reading number 2. Reading number 2. You picked the Santa Muerte Tarot as your little key to choosing, but you get a card from each deck, of course. So here we go. Card number 1, the Page of Wands in reverse. This is kind of a great one because it's a gourd dressed as Miss October. So I actually sort of like that. That's probably telling us something about timing. This one, the Empress reversed. In a way, I'm feeling this might lead on from the first card, but for the first reading. Here's the Empress upright, and here she is in reverse. Get everything in here. King of Bats. Okay. King of Bats in reverse. So beautiful and wonderful. Okay. And 19, the Sun. Check it out from the Ghosts and Spirits Tarot. Here's the Sun. So whenever you get the Sun, you know that things are in your, things are working out for you. The Sun is the luckiest card in the deck. It's always a yes card. So let's look at what's going on. What's behind this? This Empress is a little interesting because she has a fan in front of her face. She's being sort of demure, you could say, and sort of shy. She's plainly in her power, but she's also playing kind of coy and kind of flirtatious. So when we get it this way, and we get the King of Bats, which would be the King of Swords in a traditional deck, with the Death's Head Moth above him. If I've got these sort of cards, it's looking to me like there's a kind of indecision and maybe not wanting to put yourself out there quite yet. You sort of are wanting to hide a little more. You've been gathering up. I mean, these are cards of great accomplishment and mastery, right? The Empress has everything. She is the queen of all resources. And the King of Bats is the master of strategy, of justice, of executing plans. And then we've got the Page of Wands, who's Miss October, like has won the prize, has won the sash. And here it is in reverse. I sort of feel like this is a little bit similar to the first reading because it seems to me like there's a lack of confidence. There's You've been amassing resources behind the scenes, I would say. You've been preparing yourself to take some kind of a step. And in some way, because we've got the sash here, you may have even earned a credential for it. So perhaps we're looking at something like a degree, or you got some paperwork accomplished, or you got some sort of certification. There was something that was necessary, a title. So if this is to do with real estate, maybe a title was transferred to you, but you're not really, maybe you're not letting people know. Maybe you made a purchase of something and you're kind of hiding it. You don't want everyone to know what you have. You're a little worried for some reason that people might know what titles you possess, what you are coming into. The sun is saying, don't hide your light and don't worry. The sun outshines all. So if there's a sense of fear, perhaps even that people will judge you, or perhaps be jealous of you, or that they could somehow interfere with your plans. The reason I'm saying that is the King of Bats, I always think is kind of a judge card. He's kind of a judge and justice kind of card. And so when he comes up in the reverse, you can think there's sort of an injustice or somebody being judgmental. And if the Empress is hiding her resources, I don't know, it may be that hiding these things isn't doing you any harm, but it looks like your hiding these things is actually stopping you from being your greatest, from reaching your greatest potential with the attributes you have. Like imagine you have this great new car, but you're afraid for anyone to see you take it out of the garage because you're afraid what they're going to think. So you're not even driving it because you're afraid that people are going to get in there and judge you or be jealous or speak ill or something like that. And so you're not even getting the benefit of your own hard-earned qualities, your own hard-earned assets. So the sun is saying, rejoice in your assets, rejoice in what you've done, and let that brightness shine away any shadows. Do not worry about the shadows, but shine like as bright as you possibly can. Go ahead and do it. Because instead of worrying that you're going to make other people jealous or unhappy, you may be an example to them where other people look at what you've done and are able to take inspiration from it. So please, if you earned the title, don't hide it. Don't hide your tiara. Put that tiara on, because there are people out there who really need to see it. So instead of worrying about the naysayers, you should get the most benefit from everything that you've earned by shining, by letting it be seen. So you might consider that pile number 2. See what you think. Take a minute for a sniff. Thank you. Okay, it's the time of year. So here's pile number 3. Pile number 3, you picked the Halloween Tarot by Kipling West. Fabulous. So let's take a look at your cards. Yeah, I mentioned this in an earlier reading, but I'm missing my clip for my tripod, so we're doing it this way. Here we go. Ooh, okay. Lovers in reverse. This is a great Lovers because it always reminds me of the Addams Family. So here they are. Hearts on fire, pumpkin on fire. The Lovers in reverse. Number 2, oh my gosh, the Hierophant. I love this Hierophant card because he's got a Ouija board, which is so cool. So here he is, his sombrero, got dangles and tassels from it. And here is the Hierophant in the upright, card number 3, the 7 of Imps in reverse. Let me see if I can hold this so you can see it. Okay, 7 of Imps in reverse. This is kind of important because this would be the 7 of Wands typically. And look, this one character is wearing a costume. So again, we have these feelings of maybe being an imposter or feeling like you're trying to fit in with the group. It might not be working given this card, but we'll get all these arranged. And then the last card, oh, look at this. It's the Ace of Wands. Look what a beautiful card this is. We've got basically fairy lights in the forest that seem to be leading this teeny tiny little traveler. So this is a card of guidance. Often Ace of Wands can be seen as a card of guidance, like it's a torch that's lighting your way. So what's interesting to me here, the Lovers can be a card of choice. It can also be called the Path, like which path are you choosing is a question that the Lovers asks. The Hierophant is often a card of guidance, where you're getting guidance from someone. And in this case, because of this particular deck, we've got guidance from, I would say, the spirit world. So we've got Ouija, so it might be your spirit guides, it could be your ancestors, it could be your own inner self that's coming through in the form of intuition, dreams, journaling, synchronicities, inspiration, just all kinds of guidance in whatever form. And of course it can come from people too, but because we're doing this sort of spooky spirit time reading, I'm apt to think that that is part of it. The 7 of Imps, this particular 7 of Imps, a lot of times we see the 7 of Wands and it's someone defending themselves on a hill. And they're a little bit funky because like their shoes don't match and you were like, what's going on with this person? Like they rolled out of bed and started fighting. But in this one, we have a person who's just kind of wearing the outfit and walking along like Vodio Do Do. And the other imps are looking, but they're not hostile. They're just looking. And the moon has a very amused expression about the whole thing. Like, hey guys, I'm an imp too. And then we have the Ace of Wands and the fairy lights. And thinking about this, because I'm really kind of letting it sit a little bit, I feel like you're making your own path. I feel like when you're getting into someone else's path, you're just putting on a costume and you're walking the way they do and you're going the way they do. But I feel like the place you're going, there is no path, but you don't need one. At least you don't need a traditional path. You don't need a path that someone else can define for you. So in the case of the Lovers, which would be, a path card, you're choosing a path, but I feel like you're choosing from one that's not on the menu, right? Like the Lovers card, we go, oh, it's this or that. It's A or B. It's go to the left or the right. I don't think so. I feel like, okay, here's a menu. Here's a path. Here's somebody in the 7 of Imps like pointing up, oh, this is where we're headed. This is where we're going. And you can put on the costume and walk along, but that is not taking you in your direction because you can see a path that other people can't see. You see a way through that other people don't see. So I think this pile number 3, you're being counseled against false decisions where someone tells you it's this or that and that's all you have, because there's always someone who blazes a trail, and the Ace of Wands is a trailblazing card. There's always someone who's the first person to take a new path or the first person to try a different way. And your guidance may be coming, like we see with this Ouija board, from unorthodox sources. Your guidance may be coming from intuition. Your guidance might seem kind of nutty if you explained it to other people, but you are not only taking the path less traveled, I think you're taking a path untraveled. You are making the path as you walk it. So even though it is difficult to do that, and I do think this theme of needing confidence in yourself has come through all of the readings so far. So you might want to watch the others if you're kind of feeling that sort of vibe going on for you. But that idea that no one can tell you the path, pilgrim, you are making it by walking it. That's what you're doing. And it's not going to be easy to explain, but you want to avoid getting forced or pushed by others into paths that make sense to them. Because the path that makes sense to them, it might work fine. It might be okay. But you're really following something that's so much more exciting and magical and interesting to you. Don't give that up just because you can't explain it. If you have to keep it to yourself because you can't explain it and the people around you are going to give you a hard time about it, keep it to yourself. But walk that path and see where it takes you, because you have such an interesting energy right now that you're locked in with the unseen forces or with the guidance from above, or however you'd like to think of that. And by doing that, you can get out of the either or business and get into the, new trails business, like brand new, expansive vistas and frontiers for yourself. So later on, other people can follow your path and go, oh, look at this path. You're like, yeah, when I started that, there was no path. And that could be an interesting thing too, because with the Hierophant, it could be indicated that you will become an expert in this. You will become the expert because you will carve this path. And then people will come to you and go, how do I do this? Because right now, nobody really knows, but you're making it known. So that's a fascinating and inventive reading you can think about. Pile number 3. Let's get into pile number 4. So pile number 4, you picked the Evocative Ghosts and Spirits Tarot by Lisa Hunt. So let's get into your cards. I explained to everyone else, my tripod clip is missing for my phone, so we're doing it this way and we're just rocking with it. Okay, 2 of Swords in reverse. And I want you to see this cool widow's walk with these little sort of devils flying around and this weather vane. This is a cool card. Okay, 2 of Swords, reverse. Then, we get another 2. The 2 of Wands from the Santa Muerte Tarot. Very cool. Very cool. Already things start coming through. Look at this. We've got the Empress in reverse again, which is exactly what we had in a previous reading. We had got the Empress in reverse. So here she is. In this case, she's like the Bride of Frankenstein. Isn't she awesome? But she's in reverse. And the last one, oh, look at this. We have the Hermit in reverse. And this one, I want to see, I'm going to look real quickly. I apologize for the delay, pile 4, but I want to make sure I know which story this is. This has got a good little book that will tell you that not only the stories or the cards are the cards, but they all have an extra layer. Okay, this Hermit card represents the Dryads, who are tree spirits. So they are guardians, but they are at one with the trees and the elements. Okay, great. Good. So the thing about dryads is these tree spirits, these tree nymphs, transform. Often they would be chased and they would be running away from someone and they would turn into a tree to escape. So to escape whatever sorrows there were or whatever threats they were feeling, they would transform into a tree of various kinds. And then they remained guardian spirits within the trees who would help people who came to the sacred groves or to the forest. But here you see this transformation happening, and the hermit, like, I'm going to run away and be to myself. And often the dryads in the mythological stories were escaping people who wanted to marry them, or we'll use marry as a euphemistic term for what they wanted. But anyway, when we get this, it's sort of telling you not to run away. And my feeling is you are in a position of some discomfort. And the reason why is when we get the Two of Wands, in a normal card, this can be you have the power of choice, you have dominion, you have the right to make any decision you want. But in this card, I always see it as a bit of a Mexican standoff. And the Two of Swords can be a card for a stalemate too. It's also a card of peace, which people don't play up quite as much. It can be a card of a peace. You're holding things in balance. You're holding things so that they are in proper tension. So to someone else looking, it might look uncomfortable, but you're really maintaining a very functional balance. But when we get the card this way, it looks like it's an uncomfortable balance. So it doesn't look like things are well balanced. It looks like instead of feeling like you're maintaining a peaceful equilibrium, you're in an uncomfortable, tense state of maybe feeling like you need to make a decision or you need to move on something, or maybe you're trying to hold something together and you feel inadequate to it. And because you don't feel capable of holding it together, you're trying to run away. You just think, I got to get out of this. I got to get the hell out of here. So I think that this hermit thing is about just running away and giving up on what you're in the middle of, because this tension you're feeling is very uncomfortable. And it is. It's uncomfortable to be in certain kinds of uncertain situations. You just feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. And the tension can sometimes feel like a horror movie, like you're waiting for a shoe to drop, you're waiting for something bad to happen, and you feel like you're unraveling, like a rope that's unraveling, holding the hero or heroine over like a big cliff or something. It's just, it can be a very draining, exhausting kind of feeling. And that's sort of what I'm getting here. So instead of feeling happy with your position, which normally the Empress is a very satisfied card, she's lounging on her couch, she feels good about what she's got and what she's achieved. It's comfortable. She's a card of comfort. But you're not comfortable now. And it looks like your urge, because of this discomfort, might be to try to chuck everything and just go, I can't take it. Enough is enough. I'm done. I'm out of here. So I sort of feel like I'd like one more card just to know that. You hold on a second, pile 4. I'm just going to go grab the Gypsy Witch deck. Hang on. Sorry for any noise. I had to take off my headphones. I knew there was a reason I grabbed my Gypsy Witch deck. And I will tell you, the bottom of this deck right now is the sun, which signifies happiness and popularity. So this is a good sign on the foundation. Let's flip a gypsy witch and get a little advice here. Okay, I like that. All right, the letter is a sign of good tidings. So, what's important about the letter is it's communication that brings change. You may feel that this situation is stagnant, it's a standoff, and it's not going to move. And the fact that you are afraid it's not going to move and not get better is making you antsy. And you're like, that's it, I have to bail because it's never going to get any better. That does not seem to be the case. The sun tells me that there's going to be light and good light, blessings shown upon the situation. And the letter tells me there's going to be a change. There are good tidings coming. So look for a change. Try to fight your own desire to run away from whatever it is and see if you can just realize this is an uncomfortable situation, but the cards I kept getting in the other readings, and all these readings are slightly related, were cards about your inner resources, about strength, about having competence and talent and resourcefulness inside that maybe other people don't recognize. But if you look at this Two of Wands here, even though it looks like a standoff, he's smiling behind the mask. I think you can, if I think about the Two of Swords, let me rephrase this a little. The Two of Swords often is a card with a person who's blindfolded and holding two swords. But this one's holding a weather vane. So you can talk about sort of knowing which way the weather's coming in, sort of like having an eye towards what's coming next. And you don't know, and you feel tense about it. Can you possibly, if you have some small hope or confidence that things are going to change and that news is coming, can you take a deep breath and relax into your position a little bit? Thinking like, if you were an elephant holding up a walnut, you'd think, I can hold this for as long as I need to. I can hold it forever if I have to. Can you try to remember you're probably in the position, whatever it is, because you do have great capacities, because you can handle it, because you are up to the task and then some. So if you're in a position that feels thankless or feels stagnant or feels like it hasn't been moving, consider really carefully whether or not you want to chuck it all and start over and disappear, especially if this situation concerns other people and they may be depending on you to hold things together, or it may be a situation where you're part of a collaboration and so you're holding up your part and maybe it feels unfair. And you feel like you've been doing a lot more than you should have, or other people haven't been holding up their side. I think it's going to move. So anyway, you can consider what you think is best. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming by. And until the next time I post, who knows what, maybe it'll be something else for the spooky season. Rock on with your bad selves. Bye.